It's exciting being a diver because underwater, you experience new sensations. You feel pressure, swim almost weightlessly, and see and hear things differently. These result from the different physical properties that water and air have and relate directly to your safety and enjoyment as a diver. Right now, you're surrounded by pressure. It's the weight of the atmosphere of air. We call this 1 bar or atmosphere. When you go underwater, the water adds to this pressure. 10 meters, 33 feet of water adds the same pressure as the 1 atmosphere of air. So, the pressure increases 1 bar or atmosphere for every 10 meters or 33 feet you descend. Increasing pressure doesn't affect water, but it compresses a gas like air. So as you go deeper, pressure reduces an air volume and increases its density by pushing the molecules closer together. This pressure-volume density relationship is important because it affects air spaces including your ears, sinuses, lungs, and mask. It also affects controlling your buoyancy and how long your air lasts. As shown here, there's a relationship between the pressure and a gas's volume and density. At 10 meters or 33 feet, the pressure is twice the surface pressure, so half the air volume remains and the density doubles. The same relationship applies when you ascend. As the divers ascend, the gas re-expands so it's full of air at the surface. But what would happen if the divers inflated a balloon and sealed it at depth, then ascended? The air would expand and burst the balloon. To prevent this, the divers must keep the balloon unsealed and release some expanding air as they ascend. This is a very important concept we'll return to shortly. As you descend, water pressure compresses the air in your body air spaces. When descending, this primarily affects your ears, sinuses, and mask. A squeeze is discomfort caused by the imbalance between the water pressure and the airspace. A squeeze can injure you if you continue to descend. But you can prevent a squeeze by adding air to air spaces to balance the pressure. This is called equalization. Equalize your ears and sinuses by blowing gently against your blocked nostrils, or by swallowing and wiggling your jaw. Blow through your nose into your mask to equalize your mask. Equalize frequently as you descend before you feel discomfort. You shouldn't ever feel pain. If you can't equalize, stop your descent. Signal your buddies or the instructor. They can't tell that you're having difficulty unless you do. Ascend slightly and try again. If you still can't equalize, discontinue the dive and try another day. Continuing to descend with unequalized air spaces can lead to serious injuries. A cold or allergy that causes congestion can make equalizing difficult or impossible, so don't dive until you're well. Equalize gently. Never attempt a forceful and/or extended equalization. A forceful extended equalization can cause serious, permanent ear injuries. Earplugs create an airspace that you can't equalize, so don't use them while scuba diving. Increasing pressure may affect other body air spaces. It's rare, but an airspace can form under a tooth filling and cause discomfort. There's no way to equalize this, but your dentist can correct it. A dry suit holds an air layer around your body that compresses. You learn to add air to equalize it when you take the PADI dry suit diver course. Air expands as you ascend, and normally exits your internal ear spaces, mask, and sinuses without doing anything. But expanding air can be a serious issue related to your lungs. Using scuba, your lungs are at normal volume at depth. If you were to hold your breath and ascend, expanding air would overexpand and rupture your lungs, much like it bursts a balloon filled and sealed at depth. For this reason, the most important rule in scuba diving is to breathe continuously and never, ever hold your breath. Even small depth changes can cause lung overexpansion injuries. If you hold your breath, lung overexpansion can cause severe injuries, including paralysis and death. Medical treatment requires a pressurized recompression chamber, but diving commonly takes place several hours from such chambers. But while lung overexpansion injuries are very serious, they are also very easy to avoid. Breathe continuously and never hold your breath while scuba diving. This way, during ascent, expanding air escapes without issue. If you don't have your regulator in your mouth, exhale a slow, steady bubble stream so you don't hold your breath. Also, never dive with lung congestion, which has some risk of trapping air in your lungs and causing overexpansion injuries. It is rare, but some body air spaces may have a reverse block. This means expanding air can escape. Diving with a cold or allergy can cause a reverse block, but again, you shouldn't dive with a cold. Gas forming in your digestive system can cause some discomfort if it doesn't pass. And an airspace under a dental filling may, again very rarely, cause one. If you experience a reverse block, stop your ascent. Descend a meter or a few feet or so and give the trapped air time to work itself out. Then continue your ascent more slowly. As you've learned, as you go deeper and the pressure increases, the more a gas volume decreases. This means that the deeper you are, the more air each breath uses from your cylinder. So the deeper you are, the faster you use your air. Because the air is denser with depth, it takes more effort to breathe. Take slow, deep breaths while scuba diving. Pace yourself and avoid getting winded or out of breath. If you have a problem, stop and maintain or restore slow, deep breathing. As a scuba diver, 1. Breathe continuously and never ever hold your breath. 2. Breathe slowly and deeply. 3. Don't allow yourself to get winded or out of breath. And 4. If faced with a problem, stop and maintain and/or restore slow, deep breathing. When you put something in water, buoyancy pushes the object upward. The upward force is equal to the weight of the displaced water. Whether something floats, sinks, or does neither depends upon whether it weighs less than, more than, or the same as the water it displaces. As a diver, you primarily use your weight system in BCD, buoyancy control device, to control your buoyancy. As you descend, you tend to lose buoyancy. You add air to adjust for the change. When you come up, you become more buoyant, so you vent air to adjust. You'll discover that even breathing changes your buoyancy. It increases slightly when you inhale and decreases slightly when you exhale. By mastering buoyancy control, you enable yourself to control your descent and ascent rates, to stop at any depth, to save energy, to stay off the bottom, or to float comfortably on the surface. Recreational divers do not dive alone. You always dive with a buddy or buddies. Together, you plan your dives, help each other gear up, safety check each other, provide dive time reminders, assist with problems, and assist with the dive objective. The buddy system is important for practicality because you assist each other, and for safety because you can help each other prevent and handle problems. It's also important because diving is a social activity. You'll find diving is more rewarding and fun simply because you get to share your underwater adventures and experiences with others. Without the equipment that adapts you to going underwater, diving's impossible. So to become a diver, you need to learn about scuba gear, the basics on how it works and how to choose it. Like most divers, you'll probably enjoy getting to know your gear. You find literally dozens of makes, styles, and models of scuba gear. which is great because it allows you to choose equipment that accommodates your size and preferences. How do you know what's best for you? After you learn the basics about what your gear does and how it works, as a beginner, your best bet is to have a pro at your PADI resort or dive center help you. The gear you invest in will last years with proper care, but like all technologies, scuba continues to advance. Stay up to date with the latest innovations. You'll probably trade up over time, not because something older doesn't work anymore, but because there's something newer that you like better. There are some basics in choosing and caring for dive equipment that apply to virtually all your gear. The most important considerations in choice are suitability, fit, and comfort. Suitability means it's appropriate for the diving you want to use it for, like choosing a full wetsuit for cool water rather than a short wetsuit used in the warm tropics. Fit is important because a lot of gear doesn't work right if it's the wrong size. You get the right fit by choosing the right size. Comfort means the gear has the right feel and configuration. Properly adjusted gear that fits right is usually comfortable, but not always. If it's not comfortable, keep looking. After addressing suitability, fit, and comfort, secondary considerations include finding the cost and features that work for you, and making sure you have access to service, though dive operations almost always service the brands they sell. You can usually choose colors and styles that go with the rest of your kit. And remember the accessories that go with each piece. These little items add a lot to your enjoyment. Ask your dive professional for suggestions. Caring for your gear includes inspecting it for proper operation and for any wear or damage before each use. Never dive with any equipment that is not in good working order. Have something that's not right corrected before diving with it. After each dive, rinse everything in clean, fresh water and let it dry out of the sun before storing it. As reasonably possible, protect your gear from extended periods in direct sunlight. You'll learn that some pieces require additional maintenance and service by a professional. And follow any maintenance and service requirements in the manufacturer literature. You need a mask because your eyes must be in air to focus properly. Since this creates an airspace you must equalize, your dive mask must enclose your nose as well as your eyes. Never scuba dive with goggles because you can't equalize them. Choose a good quality mask made specifically for scuba diving. Your PADI dive shop can help you check the fit. After finding some that fit you, look for a low profile and a wide vision field. The silicone color is usually either clear or black. You often can choose from different frame colors. With a new mask, you may need to scrub the interior with a cleaner. Check the manufacturer literature. Adjust the strap so it fits snugly but comfortably, with the strap over the crown of your head. A snorkel is standard equipment for recreational diving. It lets you breathe, look, swim, and rest with your face in the water or waves without wasting scuba air, or if you're low after coming up. You usually choose your mask and snorkel together. You attach it with a clip or snorkel keeper. Get one that fits comfortably when adjusted with the top at the crown of your head. Many divers like a snorkel that flexes away when you're not using it. Most scuba snorkels have self-drain valves to help you blow out water. And many have guards that reduce water splashing in. After choosing the right fit and options, you can usually match the color to your mask. Fins allow your powerful leg muscles to push you through the water. You can choose from adjustable fins, which you usually wear with wetsuit boots, and full-foot fins, which fit like slippers. Since you don't use wetsuit boots, they're usually reserved for warm water. You choose fins based on blade and foot pocket size. Small bladed fins are suited to snorkeling, but not scuba. Be sure to get fins appropriate for scuba diving. Have a professional help you choose the right fit. Fins have options, including the materials they're made from, as well as splits and vents to improve performance. Adjustable fins may feature quick-release buckles or spring heels for convenience in adjusting, donning, and removing. Your PADI professional can help you choose from these options. Besides inspecting and adjusting them, you don't have to do much before diving other than closing the quick-release buckles if yours have them. Get full-foot fins wet to make them easier to slip on. Regular fins aren't much use to someone with limited leg mobility, but there are other ways to get around. Webbed gloves allow such divers to swim with surprising strength. DPVs, or diver propulsion vehicles, are a fun way for any diver to be mobile underwater. But you should be able to use your legs or arms in case it has a problem. Your scuba kit is actually 4 equipment systems integrated into a single package. Your BCD, buoyancy control device, holds everything together. As you learned, you use it to control your buoyancy. Your cylinder supplies high-pressure air to your regulator, which provides it to you when you inhale. Your weight system holds just enough lead to let you descend. Its quick release lets you easily drop your weight in an emergency. We'll look at each of the systems more closely next. Scuba gear is generally interchangeable, but because everything integrates, you usually select your scuba kit as a package that puts everything together to meet your preferences. 5 components make up your BCD. It has a bladder you inflate and deflate to control your buoyancy. The bladder integrates with a harness or jacket with a band that securely holds your cylinder. The low-pressure inflator lets you use it to add air directly from your cylinder by pressing a button. You use the other button to deflate the bladder or inflate it orally. Overpressure valves are designed to prevent rupturing from accidentally overfilling the bladder. Some of these have quick dump releases you can use to deflate the BCD. The weight system pockets hold lead weights, but you can release them quickly. You have options regarding BCD features. Beyond getting the right size and fit, some have more air capacity than others. Pockets and D-rings for storing and clipping accessories come in handy. Many divers like shoulder quick releases that make getting out of your kit easier. BCDs are among the most stylish pieces of gear, and you can choose from several looks. Adjust your BCD so it's snug, but not too tight while wearing your exposure suit. Inflate it to be sure it doesn't restrict breathing. After it's set, attach an emergency whistle to the low-pressure inflator and mount the hose retainers that hold some of the regulator components. When caring for your BCD, rinse the inside of the bladder as well as the outside. Drain it, and after drying, store it with a bit of air inside. Your regulator has 5 components. The first stage attaches to the cylinder valve and supplies air to the other components. You breathe from the second stage. It delivers air only when you inhale, or when you press the manual purge button. Your alternate air source is a second stage on a longer hose that you use to share in an emergency. You'll learn about other types of alternate air sources too. The low-pressure inflator hose